Hello and welcome to Gaming History 101. No, I'm just kidding. You thought I was going to do the entire intro like that? Hello and welcome to Gaming History 101. My name is Sasha and I'll be your host today. Snapchat, while having absolutely nothing to do with the topic at hand, is one of the most influential social media apps of all time. There's no denying that. But did you know, Snapchat probably wouldn't exist in its current form as it does if a little thing for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color didn't come out in the late 90s. Of course, we're talking about the Game Boy camera, and some similarities are immediately present as you can flip which way you want to take pictures of. It's pretty good. I mean, that's probably not that radical of a proposition, but it wouldn't be the same nonetheless. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the history of this, and let's see how it came to influence the world of digital cameras. Let's go. The Game Boy camera was produced by Masahiro Kuwahara of Nintendo R&D 1. The original prototype of the Game Boy camera was shown off, I don't know where, but as you can see in this picture, it was shown off somewhere, and it was a huge box of wires connected to a Game Boy. Not this model of Game Boy, mind you, but same concept. You get the point. Not much is known about the Game Boy camera's development, but it came out on June 1st, 1998 in North America, and September 17th, 1998 in Japan. In North America, it came in 5 colors: red, as well as green, blue, yellow, and Ocarina of Time gold. However, in Japan, there weren't blue or gold variants, but there were clear purple variants instead of those two, so I guess the color change makes up for what was lost. I don't know. The Game Boy camera creation was a collaboration effort by Nintendo, Creatures Inc., and Game Freak. Yeah, the developers of Pokemon. The story of how it was developed goes like this. Masato Kuwahara went to Hirokazu Tanaka, the president of Creatures Inc. at the time, and he gave him the idea, which Hirokazu liked. The software would then be co-developed with Nintendo R&D 1 and Jupiter. Tanaka would be directing the project. You may have heard of his musical creations in many Nintendo games, including the Black Box NES games, NES official Tetris, Super Mario Land, Motherland 1 and 2 or Earthbound 0 and Earthbound, and unsurprisingly enough, his talent is found in the Game Boy camera. And in this, we can exchange photos with another Game Boy camera. I guess this is how people sent nudes before Snapchat. Also, is it possible to print out pictures that you take on your Game Boy camera? Actually, it is, using the Game Boy Printer. For an extra $60, you could immortalize your Game Boy camera pictures with a Game Boy Printer. Some pretty snazzy stuff. Now, despite what you might know of printers today with, your laser jets and your inkjets and what have you, the Game Boy Printer actually used thermal paper, so instead of ink, it used physical... It did something, right? I'm not a scientist, so don't take my word for it, but it did something, and it pressed your picture onto the piece of paper. And that's how it printed the thing. If you've ever been to any store, it's the same kind of technology they use with the receipts, I think, except I'm not sure if receipts are on thermal paper, but it feels exactly the same in your hand. Now, originally, the paper that the Game Boy Printer came with had a sticky side to the back so that you could stick it to things kind of like a sticker. Now, I believe this was exclusive to the Game Boy Printer paper, and that's the paper that you can buy now, like, as a replacement for this, because, older thermal paper tends not to work. It doesn't have a sticky side, so, oh well. You win some, you lose some. Now let's try printing something. Okay, so this is my first time actually printing anything, so let's see if this works. Okay, let's see how that turned out. Ooh, that's kind of hard to see. Oh, that's just a garbled mess, isn't it? Let's find something else to print. Ooh, let's print this Tetris CDI cover. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh. Huh. Well, that didn't exactly work out as planned. They kind of just look like little garbled messes. I mean, you can kind of tell what they are. I'll put some pictures of them right here. You can kind of tell what they are, but I don't know. I guess when I get some thermal paper for it, I'll check it out. And I'll probably post the pictures to Twitter. Follow me there, by the way. In the meantime, why don't I show you some pictures that I took on the Game Boy camera captured through my Game Boy player. Here's a picture of me. Here's a picture of me working on the Apple Pippin video, and me power lifting my Power Mac G5 for the meme because I like to hurt myself to make you guys pseudo laugh. I don't know what your emotion is, I'm a video on the internet. This is a picture of my Dell Precision workstation as well as the Power Mac G5. This is a good book, The Man in the High Castle. A very good read. I would recommend the series too. Season 1 is kind of crap, but Season 2 is where it really picks up, by the way, just in case you wanted to check it out. Here's a picture of my favorite game of all time, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. Now, we've talked a lot about the Game Boy camera, but we haven't actually taken a look at it yet, so let's do that. Off the bat, you see the various size similarities between the Game Boy camera and a regular Game Boy Kart. The only difference between the sizes, I guess, is the fact that this is obviously bigger and it has a little, I want to make a joke, but it's not very appropriate, so it kind of looks like a little ball at the top. It is a little ball. And you could actually turn this forward and back depending on what you want to take a picture of. This will fit into any Game Boy that can take original Game Boy games like the Game Boy Color, the Super Game Boy and Super Game Boy 2, although you have to flip it around, and the Game Boy Player, which I'll show, or if I haven't shown already, I'll show later in this video. That's about it for the Game Boy camera. It is a really interesting little gadget, and admittedly, it did bring some really interesting things to the table. Neil Young's album Silver and Gold was actually taken, the album art was taken on a Game Boy camera. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this video. There's like a bunch left to this video. Did you really think I would end it here? While researching this video, I actually realized, or I remembered, that Nintendo was going to make their own Game Boy Advance camera called the Game Eye.
Also from Nintendo, this is the Game Eye, a tiny camera that will store your pictures onto your Game Boy Advance. This working prototype includes a 2x digital zoom. The Game Eye can be used as a standalone device, but in this demo, when linked to the GameCube, the Game Eye really gets you into the game. Nintendo says the Game Eye is still in development and is only planned for Japanese release.
And I realized I wanted to talk about that and buy it, but then I realized it never came out. Then I did a little bit more of a digging kind of thing, and I found out that Nyko, the company that made all those really crappy knockoff Wii remotes, actually made their own Game Boy cameras for the Game Boy Advance. Those were, and I can't believe I actually bought these, the Worm Cam and the Digicam. Let's talk about these, because I want to get these out of my house as soon as possible. Now, I'm going to try something new here. I've never gone completely off script in the history of Gaming History 101, as far as I can remember anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to unbox these, since these are still sealed. I guess I should mention how much I got this for. I got this for $5, and believe it or not, I got this for $30. I spent way too much on this. My priorities need to be set straight. But I'm going to do something new here. I'm going to unbox these. I'm going to talk about what's in them, and I'm going to try to be a mix of Lou from Unbox Therapy and Everything Apple Pro with this fancy big knife. And I'm going to use my big knife. Hopefully I won't need scissors to open these. And since these are blister packs, I almost poked myself. Blister packs. Since these are blister packs, I'll try to be as conservative as I can with the way I open this. So, I'll even throw in another camera angle. That should be interesting. So, let's see how this turns out. Okay, so I'm probably not going to use my mic, my blue snowball for the rest of this video, just because it's too much of a hassle to have to put everything together in VideoPad, and I'll just stick with this. Okay, so first let's look at the Worm Cam. So we see this is the camera itself. It comes with a bright sun filter, so kind of like a filter to block out the sun, as it would imply. It says here on the spine, you could tilt it 180 degrees, so kind of like on the Game Boy camera, how you could turn the ball. Here you can turn this head forward and backwards, and I guess it would react somehow. I don't know. It also says it comes with a CD that has the software and an instruction booklet. And I see it has a serial port cable right here, so we'll see how that goes. I actually had a thing in my script about the way that this connects to the Game Boy Advance. Okay, so let me just read off the script because I'm lazy. So I should point out that before I get into why this is different than the Game Boy camera, I need to say that this actually connects through the link cable port and not through the cartridge slot like the Game Boy camera. Reason for that is that both of these cameras, they're unlicensed products. And Nintendo only has a thing for letting the Game Boy boot off cartridges with licensed software that Nintendo approves of. But if you've ever plugged your Game Boy Advance into a GameCube with the Game Boy Player or something with Pokemon Channel, I guess, you'll remember how the Game Boy Advance has a wait state. What that means is that it's waiting for data to come in through the link port from a GameCube or another Game Boy. So what that means is that they trick the Game Boy into thinking it's receiving data, but really all it is the boot ROM for the Worm Cam. It's actually kind of smart if you think about it, but a setback of this is that it only transfers something like 2 megabits per second, not megabytes, megabits. This sends a mini file directly to the Game Boy, and that Game Boy downloads it and boots off of it from the RAM. But due to the limited amount of bandwidth and file transfer capacity that the Game Boy can actually handle, then you'll realize really quick that it's kind of a pain in the ass to work properly and consistently. Okay, let's get to actually unboxing this. Where should I start? Should I start from back here? I'll start right here. Ooh, I can smell the 16-year-old plastic already. I just cut myself. I'll be right back. Okay, now that I'm back, I actually brought scissors so I don't cut myself. PSA kids, don't use a buck knife to open blister packages. That's just not a good idea. So let me just get on this glove really quick, and we'll get back to opening the package. You know, when I got the NetJet, which I talked about in an earlier episode, it came in a similar kind of packaging, and one of the things I regret doing is opening it before I got it on camera, because, oh, here we have the sun filter. I regret opening it as early as I did, because it came in the same kind of packaging, and I think it would have made for an interesting video set piece, even though I got it before I started, or I made the video about it before I started using my my iPhone as my main camera. But I still think it would have been an interesting thing to like open the box and see what it came with. Regardless, okay. So here we have the worm cam open. Let's see if I can just pull this up. Okay. So as you can tell, this doesn't come with the Game Boy itself, but here it, ooh, that's a heavy plastic smell. Okay, so here it comes with a mini USB to serial port connector. I'll probably see how that works later, I don't know. And here we have the camera itself. Ooh, this uses batteries. And it's telling, oh, I just broke the tab, cool. What kind of batteries does this use? Oh, gross, this uses watch batteries. This isn't like a CMOS battery, this is like an actual watch battery. A CR1616 3-volt battery, gross. Okay, we'll see, oh, crap. We'll see how this works, when I grab my Game Boy. Okay, so here we see the data port where we would transfer our videos. Why do I keep saying videos? Our pictures over. And here we have our little lens cap, which I assume we line up with the little orange dot right here. And yeah, there we go. And here we can actually move the lens for, I guess, focusing or something. I don't know. I'm assuming this would work with regular micro or mini USB to USB cables. I'll have to see for sure. Let's see, what else does this come with? It says it comes with an instruction booklet. Ah, it's in here, okay. So we have to actually pull this out and then... Whoa, this is like an actual book. This is like an actual book. Whoa. Oh, and it comes with a CD. It comes with a CD. Wow. Okay. Okay. I'll see what I can do with this. It says here that we need, okay, so system requirements, right? We need Windows 95 or higher with a minimum nondescript amount of RAM. We need 3 megabytes of hard drive space, screen settings that support at least 15-bit color, a DB9 serial port, and a CD-ROM drive. I don't know, man. This is probably really taxing for my computer. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, Windows 10, at least 3 terabytes of hard drive space. It doesn't have a DB9 serial port though, but I do have a laptop which can run it. I don't know. This could be way too taxing for my computer. We'll have to see. Okay, now let's take a look at the Digicam SP. From what I've heard, this is exactly the same thing, just a little bit of a different form factor, because it's meant for the Game Boy Advance SP, as opposed to the Game Boy Advance original. Okay, how should we tackle this? Don't try this at home, kids. We're gonna take the knife and we're gonna cut in right here. And we're gonna go like that. Did that work? Yeah, it worked, okay. I don't like this hexagonal packaging. This is just annoying, and it's a pain in the butt when you try to open it. There seems to be something right here. Not gonna lie, this kind of looks like an onion shred. Okay, so let's... Oh, this is actually kind of cool. This is like a holofoiled Pokemon card, or Yu-Gi-Oh card, or whatever. It's kind of cool. Okay, so it comes, here it comes with, here's the Digicam SP itself. Uses the same kind of battery, a much easier to get into battery compartment, I will say. Oh, this is literally just spray painted. They didn't even bother making... Well, that's dumb. Okay, so here we see a few notable improvements over this. Here we see the little filter is built in, all you have to do is slide. But they did remove the functionality of turning the lens, so But here you also see you have a little ribbon cable to plug it into your link cable port, as opposed to here where it's kind of like the e-reader and it's directly built into the camera. And then here we have... What is this? Is this like a viewfinder? Yeah, here you have a little viewfinder and it's kind of cool, it's springy. And here we have our data port. Comes with tissue paper. Whoa! This actually comes with like a little seal on the thing. That's so cool. Like I'm not even trying to sound sarcastic. It even comes with a mini CD. Holy crap! Whoa! It even comes with a mini CD. Look at that. Also, it says that this cable is 5 feet long. I don't want to try to find out whether or not it does. It says it came with a backup battery. Could it? Oh, that's because it's already installed. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so I need to move all this crap out of the way. I just tried to install the software that came with the worm cam on my rig, and the setup file, like, it wouldn't even start. In conclusion, the Game Boy line has had a very interesting series of cameras released for it, and the DSi and the 3DS line of systems all had each of their own different amounts of cameras. Could this have been possible without the advent of the Game Boy camera? Who knows? It's hard to tell if you're not a time traveler, like John Titor. I don't know. If you like this video, be sure to click up here in the cards to see the last 2 videos uploaded on this channel, as well as my social media handles, which will be shown up here in Ubuntu light text font. And if you like this video, be sure to tell me what you'd like me to make a video on, because I'm running out of ideas. No, I'm not, but I just want you guys to tell me what you guys want me to make videos on, so it's more interesting for you to watch the channel, and it's more fun for me to make the videos. But if this is where I part for today, this has been Gaming History 101. Thank you so much for watching. Now I have to go clean up all this crap that's on my table.